It's the last trading day for the week. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up this afternoon, Bank of Ghana reports puts services sector as the highest job providing sector in Ghana. Also, Maslock recovers over 85% of outstanding loans to micro and small-scale businesses. And later in the bulletin, we will tell you how a single effort of an agric extension agent is impacting lives in the Bono East region. We have the details plus many more this afternoon on your marketplace. Do stay tuned. Good afternoon once again. I am Sandra Estinam Apeno. President Akufo-Addo has cut a sword for the construction of a new operational head office for the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, in Takoradi. The commencement of the project is a new dawn for creating a regional oil service hub with a first-class port facility, as well as positioning it as an efficient center for back office support for the oil industry in West Africa.
We're gathered here in Takoradi today to begin the process of fulfilling a key manifesto pledge made by the new Patriotic Party MPP to the people of the Western region in the run-up to the conduct of the December 2016 elections. A pledge I reiterated to the Western Regional House of Chiefs on 27 December 2016. After the Ghanaian people voted massively for me and my party. On page 44 of the 2016 MPP manifesto, we pledged to position Western region, quote, into a reasonable oil services hub with a first-class port facility, as well as positioning it as an efficient center for back office support for the oil industry in the West African region, including the relocation of the operational headquarters of GNPC to the region, unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here this evening to cut the sword for the commencement of construction works on a 7-story modern office complex spanning about 7,000 square meters of floor space to be used as the operational headquarters of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC. To be constructed at a cost of $25 million United States over a 2-year period, I urge the contractor, Mr. Sienna Services, to ensure a timely delivery of this project and within budget, and use local labor in doing so, as the contractor has assured us it will.
According to a new labor market conditions report by the Bank of Ghana, there has been a marginal reduction in the number of job vacancies in the country for the first quarter of the year. The less than 1% reduction in job vacancies can be attributed to a significant fall in economic activities in the industrial sector, particularly during the partial lockdown period. This leaves the services sector with the highest number of about 93% of total job vacancies recorded during the period. There's more in the following report.
The services sector maintained its dominance as the leading job-providing sector in the economy. This accounted for 93.6% of the total job adverts recorded during the first quarter of 2020. It compared with a share of 83.8% recorded in the first quarter of 2019. Industry followed with a share of 6.4%, down from 14.2% in the first quarter of 2019. While there were no job adverts from the agricultural sector during the period, compared with 2.0% of total job adverts recorded for the corresponding quarter of 2019. Further analysis showed that the main requirements for skilled employees were tertiary education qualifications and minimum of 3 years working experience. Meanwhile, Ghana Statistical Service says it will be conducting another survey on the impact of COVID-19 on the country's job market. Here's government statistician Professor Kobna Enim.
The household tracker is going to capture issues related to employment in the second wave and hopefully in the third wave. What we've not thought about is whether to disaggregate it, but definitely with the data that we collect, it wouldn't be a challenge at all doing both graduate employment, unemployment issues as well as overall employment, unemployment issues. So definitely in our subsequent releases, we're going to share with you how employment is playing out during COVID-19 era.
In the Bank of Ghana's report, the category classified as professionals and technicians collectively accounted for 57.4% of total jobs advertised during the first quarter of 2020, relative to 52.4% recorded in the first quarter of 2019.
Now, managers of the Microfinance and Small Loan Center, Maslock, in the Ashanti region are recording between 80 and 85% loan recoveries and payments. Regional manager for Maslock, Hajia Zainabu Salo, says the rate is impressive, especially among poultry farmers that are recording 100% payment. She says the improvement has impacted their operations, compelling them to double the amount for group loans. Prince Apia has more in the following report.
The Microfinance and Small Loans Center, Maslock, for many years faced the challenge of many loan defaulters, some of whom ascribed political reasons. The situation affected the finance, operations and patronage of Maslock. But the Ashanti Regional Manager of Maslock, Hajia Zainabu Salao, says loan default rate has reduced. Currently, between 80 and 85% loan recoveries and payment are being recorded. She revealed this when the institution disbursed loans for 20 more poultry farmers after earlier 30 redeemed their loans.
Maslock, as at now in Ashanti region, we are doing very well. Our repayment is very good. The group loans that we are doing is 85% recovery. The interest rates have reduced drastically. Now, as at now, poultry farmer loans, those that we've given first year, was only 1 year for repayment. Now, we've now extended to 18 months.
Hajia Salao says the situation has compelled them to double the loan request for the next batch.
Range between 20,000, 15,000 and 10,000 cedi. It depends on the large size of the poultry that the person is already having. They are not starters. They are those who have been poultry farming for years. We are there to give them the best helping hand as far as the poultry farm is concerned. And the first batch that we give were about 30 poultry farmers 6 months ago. And our recovery rate is 100%.
50 poultry farmers of the Ashanti Poultry Farmers Association have benefited so far from the Maslock loans. Disbursements ranged from 15,000 minimum to 20,000 Ghana cedis to the poultry farmers. Boris Beidou is Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Poultry Farmers Association.
I know that we applied for 350 loans, which, as I speak to you right now, I just received a phone call that another set is ready. I'm very happy. I believe that if it continues like this, we can do something better for, this industry. So it tells you, it's all about the leadership. It's all about who leads the association, who is steering affairs.
Prince Apia reporting.
Let's still stay in the Ashanti region, where artisans at Swami Magazines have collaborated with the colleges of technology education to refine their operational knowledge and skills with modern technology. Officials say the initiative is critical to enhance their productivity and make them complete entrepreneurs. Chairman of the University Teachers Association of Ghana at the College of Technology Education, Dr. Stephen Balfour-Ejay, says the initiative in the long term will grow the artisanal industry.
The Swami Magazine Industrial Hub has for many years trained and impacted the artisanal industry in Ghana. But there have been calls for the need to improve the operations with modern technologies. The Swami artisans have therefore partnered with the College of Technology Education to enhance their crafts. Dr. Balfour-Ejay, who is the chairman of the University Teachers Association Ghana, has been speaking to Loud Business.
As you speak, this college is in serious collaboration with Smido, Swami Mazin, this industrialist at Swami Mazin, and other artisans to help them to kind of refine the things that they do over there. We are giving them the practical skills and training so that they will become complete entrepreneurs to be able to deploy that expertise to help Ghana and help others. We are deploying our expertise to train these Swami Magazine and other artisans to be very competent in what they do so that they can also refine the kind of things they do with the new modern technology that is available for us to do. And that is what we are doing now, which is trying to foster a very important link between industry and university.
A week ago, Parliament passed the Akentenga Piaminka University Skills Training and Entrepreneurship Development Bill. This bill will mean the Kumasi and Mampong campuses of the colleges of technology will gain autonomy and become fully fledged universities to train more personnel in higher technology and vocational skills. Dr. Bafo Ejei says this will inure to government industrialization drive. So UTAG therefore wants government to accent to the bill as fast as possible.
That's why this bill is very critical, because you see, there's a certain perception that if you attend a technical school and that so on and so forth. Now, the president is making a bold pronouncement that you can, we have catering, hospitality industry here, we have all these various things here that will train individuals to be practical, oriented, right? Hands-on experiences. So that mindset will no longer be there, because you can come here and obtain a PhD. It tells you that this bill is so critical to national development, very critical. And it's a very historic step by this government to set us on the path of industrialization.
Prince Apia reporting.
Agric Extension Agent's drive to extend his services to seed production has brought relief to farmers in the Bono East region. In the past, farmers' access to improved high yielding and disease resistances to drive towards increased agricultural production to achieve national food security was a challenge, but Lawrence Ife's intervention is yielding results. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin visited Ifa farm and our reports.
My name is Lawrence Ifa. I am an extensionist, agric extension agent, and I'm also a farmer, precisely a seed producer. I combined this because when I came to this ministry, I realized the need for farmers to patronize improved seeds.
For the past 15 years, Mr. Ifa has been producing improved seeds for farmers in the Kintampo North municipality.
I started somewhere 2005. When I came into the ministry, somewhere around 2004. Ever since, I've been producing seeds, seed maize, cowpea, and even currently I am also into soybean production. I do multiply the seeds.
With over 150 acres of farmland, the extension agent has reduced one of the complex burdens of farmers.
I have a personal land of 150 acres. And currently, I am cultivating 160 acres of seed maize. I rented some, but that is my personal distance. So they are all under cultivation. As you see here, it's about 43 acres. Elsewhere, I have 70, and elsewhere, because of the limited time. So I am producing seed.
In 2019, Mr. Ifa supplied over 2,000 mini bags of improved seeds to farmers across the Bono East region. It was facilitated by government's flagship Planting for Food and Jobs program.
For the past 4 years, if I could recall, I supplied 800, 1,200. Currently, I have supplied over 2,000 seed maize, mini bags of seed maize through the Planting for Food and Jobs. I have been able to supply all through Brongahafo. Anywhere there is a request, I am able to send them to them so that they can also make good use of the my produce.
Mr. Efa's job places him in a position to better understand the needs of farmers and give them technical support. Mr. Efa says he is making 100% profit from the business, which motivates him to expand his farm. Last year, for instance, he made at least 100,000 cedis.
By God's grace, we are able to make some reasonable profits. Just last year, you can imagine if I should supply average of 2,000 bags after production, I'm able to get not less than maybe 100% increase of my income. So I've gone beyond 100,000 as far as production is concerned. And yes, Ghana cedis. In production, you come to harvesting and processing, you also spend a lot. Not less than maybe 50% of your production cost will be spent. And if all things being equal, the patronage is what matters.
Mr. Efa's initiative came with some challenges in the past until the advent of planting for food and jobs. The future of his project in the event government subsidy ends continues to occupy his mind.
Who knows, maybe if the subsidy, in case the subsidy ends, we don't know how farmers are prepared to, buy at full cost. That is
a report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
Impacting lives indeed, but don't you go anywhere because we have more business for you after this break. Welcome back to the marketplace with me, Sandra Esenam Apeno. For 20 years and counting, he has been building and providing affordable homes to Ghanaians, but the absence of a regulator in the housing industry means he has had to deal with land guards and unregulated price schemes, among other challenges. This is the story of a real estate developer, Nicholas Brown.
Since 2018, Parliament has been urged to pass the Construction Industry Development Authority (CIDA) bill to ensure the sanitization of the construction industry and hold all professionals in the industry accountable and get rid of substandard individuals. But a real estate developer and the owner of Blue Rose Limited, Eric Ebu Aqua, tells Joy Business that the absence of the CIDA bill means for over 20 years he has had to deal with land litigation and funding issues coupled with the high cost of building materials, which has also slowed his business.
Real estate business for the past 20 years, but the business has been there for the past 31 years. So 20 years we have been delivering quality and affordable houses to the people of Ghana. We Blue Rose, we don't just build houses, we develop a community whereby you can get schools, you can get shops, offices and other. So it's a complete community with water, light and fiber optic. As a real estate developer, our two major challenges is land litigation and the funding, the cost of funding. Land, you see, the land system is not too well structured, so you buy a land, you go through a whole process, and someone somewhere will just come and say that, oh, it's for me, whilst even the land is registered. These are one of the things that we are looking up to for the land bill. We are looking at that the land bill will structure it. Then the cost of funding. The cost of funding, you know that we borrow at 30% and thereof. And if you borrow at 30%, it's become very difficult to work and to earn, to pay back and also earn a profit, because we are also business. We have staff to pay, and we are also obliged to sell the houses to. So that it will be affordable to the ordinary worker. So these are the major challenges that we are coupled. But the other minor challenges like bureaucracy in permit process and other things, acquiring utilities, they are all challenges. But the major ones are the land litigation and cost of funding. I think a CIDA bill will help, because it's like, playing football without a referee. You get it.
You know, imagine, you know, two teams playing football without a referee. Everybody will just be fouling and nobody cares. So the system will be like a kind of like a referee, so that it will help for us to have the standard. We will have standard, you know, so that they will oversee and they will also make it more structured.
However, the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association says it is unfortunate to see the unwillingness of successive governments to establish a national housing authority, which will provide room for low and middle income earners to own houses in the country. Samuel Amegaibo is the executive director of GREDA.
National Housing Policy. This document was launched in 2015. And if you look at page 27, this document will tell you about the intention of this policy. You see, when you have a policy, it's a framework that you have sort of ironed out based on stakeholder involvement to agree that this is the way Ghana wants to go when it comes to housing delivery. When you are finished with this, the next thing you go is to institute the legal framework to run the things that you have all agreed. But as you can find out from the Ministry of Works and Housing that since this thing was launched in 2015, what have we achieved in terms of milestone to get these documents fully implemented? Not much. There was a mention of housing authority prescribed in this book, which I can give you later, you will look at it, that we needed a housing authority. If it was not necessary, a whole stakeholder engagement would not have ironed out as an important. It has not been done.
Mr. Amegaibo has therefore called for the swift passage of this bill to regularize the construction industry and ensure adjudication and faster resolution of issues in the industry.
As soon as yesterday. You see, if you can't have a bill that has been in existence from 2011 and just still hanging. Do you know how long the real estate agency bill has been in the offing? It's over 27 years old. 27 years. It has, names has changed. When it originally started, the name keep changing until now that we are calling it Real Estate Agency Bill. And it has taken over 20 years to get to where we are. We will be lucky if this current government will even pass it, because if they don't pass it, we'll fall into the same problem of getting it into the next government. When there are rules and regulations by all players involved in the sector, it makes it easier for better adjudication and faster resolution of disputes when they arise.
When passed, the bill is expected to serve as a referee to deal with proper pricing regulation, cost of building materials, and also attract investors to the industry. Reporting for Joy Business, I am Nicholas Brown.
The Executive Director of Third World Network Africa, Dr. Yao Graham, is questioning government's move to monetize the country's mineral resources. Earlier this month, government secured Parliament's approval to set up a company that would manage Ghana's mineral royalties for development. But Dr. Graham tells Joy Business there is no way the deal can be justified considering the planned approach in raising the funds.
The Mbeki report highlighted the fact that Africa is the continent from which the largest amount of illicit financial flows go out, particularly from our extractive sector. So there's a huge irony and amorality that the government of the leading gold-producing country in Africa resorts to an approach which, among other things, sees the use of tax havens as a foundational act in the exercise. We can come to the other aspects of the thing. So first of all, the way in which, as part of consolidating Ghanaian democracy, accountability and transparency is built into revenue management as exemplified by the petroleum management, revenue management. This is a complete deviation from that. We should also take that back to the fact that it's not simply accounting for any old tax revenue. These are non-renewable resources from which these things are coming. So the issue of intergenerational benefit is quite important.
Do I get from you that there is no justification for using this approach to raise this money because the structure is already there? If we want to even leverage on mineral royalties to raise money, even if that approach is justified?
No, I'm questioning the approach for a number of reasons. But you see, fundamentally also, this is a savage privatization of what should be a responsibility of the state. Who are the people in this offshore company who are going to be managing this thing on behalf of the people of Ghana? The mechanism has been set up so that it's away from public scrutiny to the procedures of parliament and so on. It is justified in terms of keeping investors happy. When I listened to the chair of the Parliamentary Finance Committee yesterday speaking on Joy, I was very sad. I was extremely sad that somebody who is supposed to be the custodian of the people's interest could not answer a question about the choice of an offshore vehicle for this transaction. Something which goes fundamentally to a growing, so I mean the fact that, I mean this government, President Kufuor, who it's, you know, always talking about democracy, accountability, and Ghana's profile in terms of democracy, can actually be using a method which increasingly is seen as a method for crooks, money launderers, and people who want to avoid accountability. An offshore company in a tax haven by an African government is an absolute travesty.
That'll be all for this afternoon. Log on to myjoyonline.com/business. There's always news there. I am Sandra Esinamafen. I'm back at 5 with Business Live. Thanks so much for watching.